My name's Stuart Morris. I'm the director of Birmingham Holistic Health Centre, and if you've never been here, it is the most wonderful, peaceful place, certainly that I've ever been to as regards to holistic health centres. There is something very, very special here. There's a peace, a security, a safety, and something else that I feel entitles it to be called a sanctuary, because the word sanctuary evokes to me a place of solace, of comfort, a place where you can come and rest. I just wanted to introduce you to some of the holistic therapies in these next few videos that we begin to produce. I always thought I'd write a book about some of the things that I've learned over these last 20 years or so, but I'm not really sure I'm going to ever get round to doing that. But even just doing these videos may prompt me to begin to write some stories about amazing synchronicities and coincidences that I've heard from some incredible people I've treated over the last 20 years. Most people, when they look at holistic therapy, they say, what is an holistic therapist? And I guess it's important that I give you a little bit of background into why I do what I do in the way that I do it. 26 years ago, I was diagnosed with a form of cancer called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I used to be a bricklayer, a market lad, all of my life really before I came into the therapies. But certainly after that diagnosis, my life completely changed. And what was the worst moment, or at least one of the worst moments in my life, turned out to be the catalyst for something better, some change. And actually most of the practitioners who work here, all of them have a similar story, which is part of what makes this centre so unique. Because when people come, I usually ask them about themselves prior to any qualification that they've got, because that's really important to me. Two things shaped my life and the therapies that I do from that moment. The consultant said to me, you know, Stuart, you need to relax, because I was so anxious, panic attacks, awful. I was on 160 milligrams of beta blocker, and even those weren't controlling my anxiety, my panic attack. I was so frightened. My ex-wife was pregnant with my now son, and I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I had a 60% chance of surviving the next 5 years or so, I was told. And the funny thing is, the irony of all of that is actually my life prior to the diagnosis wasn't very good. And I could know just a complete lack of hope in life. And the strange thing is, when I was actually diagnosed, that it was probably the first time that I wanted to really live. And something within me, this determination, which has never left me, began to come to the fore. And I searched ways of getting well, looked at nutrition, acupressure, yoga, anything I could do to survive, I did. Macmillan nurses used to come around and tell me about certain people, and my answer was always, show me the one who survived, because that's all I was interested in. And very much in a way that's what I've carried forward to the therapies that I do now. I treat everybody who comes my way more or less in the same way that I treated myself all those years ago, which was I focus on where we want to go. And whether there's hills, dips, bumps, it doesn't make any difference to me, that's where we're going. Alongside that, there were two very important things that shaped my life around that time in the therapies that I do now. The first was an old nurse who used to come over to me by the bed and just listen to me whinge and moan about life. And I understood then, because she used to say certain bits of wisdom, I understood then the power of spoken word, the right thing at the right time. And that's part of what I do now in the treatments that I do. My daughter, who was 2 at the time, used to come up and lie down on the bed beside me, only a dot, and hold my hand and fall asleep. And I understood then again the simplicity of touch. And basically, as an holistic therapist, those two things allow me to do the simplicity of touch and the right word at the right time through various modalities of therapies. I'm trained in NLP, reflexology, aromatherapy, Psych-K, EFT, lots and lots of things. But essentially, if I'm honest with you, those two core things are really what I'm attempting to do. The right word at the right time, the simplicity of touch. And I always said those two things were the most powerful forms of medicine I ever received. Obviously, I support those things with the right nutrients, the right herbs, and lots of other things, but essentially that's what I'm attempting to do. And I also say to new practitioners, the truth is, this is what I believe, that the therapies and the medium by which you give by becomes secondary to you. Because I know that there's something in me that's so determined and wants to carry a person through, that eventually it does. So over these next few weeks and months, we're going to have some of the practitioners here all giving a couple of 3-minute talk about what they do. And also I want to share with you some stories that I've heard along the way that I think are absolutely amazing and will definitely inspire you, because that's what they do for me. And the message in all of these videos and stories that I tell is that I want you to know that you're not alone. And I'm also going to prove that fact to you. I'm going to do some little bits of work even through the videos with you that you can test the water for yourself. Work on affirmations in the form of prayer. And I can show you 100% of the time that you'll get an answer. And what does that mean? It means you're not alone. And in fact, I wanted to know that, and still do on a daily basis, more than anyone I've ever met. Why? Because if I know it, I can tell it to you. And so we'll see. I can share these videos, and your own interpretation is entirely up to you. Thanks very much. See you in a bit.